I am going to go over with you some really interesting, creepy, sometimes scary, kind of weird things that have happened to me throughout my real estate career. Welcome back to our channel. It must be TomKat Tuesday. My name is Catherine Larkin. You know my business partner is Tom Steck. Together we are the TomKat Team. Get ready. I'm going to share with you some really weird, creepy things that have transpired within my 22 years of being a realtor. Early in my career, and I think it's because I didn't know any better, but I should have had better street smart sense. I mean, hello, I lived in New York City for many, many years. Shoulda, woulda, coulda known a little bit better. However, this woman called our real estate office, the office I was working with at the time. She said she and her boyfriend wanted to sell her boyfriend's home, and if I would be willing to come over and take a look at it. And I'm like, sure, why not? I said I needed to see the property and I needed to be inside the property. So she's like, come on over. Well, should have known better. Thank goodness I did let my office know where I was going. I always do that. Either Tom or my office knows exactly where I'm going. So in case, God forbid, something does happen. Well, here I am going to this property. I'm driving by all of these beautiful homes. Then I go down this dirt road. Then I see where this house is, and it is way back in the property. Did not look good. Not like the other beautiful homes around it. And as I pull in, I stop because I'm watching all of these men walking back and forth, and they kind of looked a little strung out. I sat there in my car, and all of a sudden the woman came out, and I'm like, great. I opened the door, but I kept the car running, and I stood by the door. And I explained who I was. She was so excited. She wanted me to meet her boyfriend. They needed to sell the home, probably for drugs. But anyway, so I'm chit-chatting with her, but I'm watching everything going on around me, and I'm like, I'm not leaving this car. So all of a sudden, her boyfriend came out of the house, half-dressed, screaming and yelling at me, saying horrible profanities. Get off his land, who was I, blah, blah, blah. Just a horrific, horrible person. She runs up to him. She's trying to stop him to stay away from me. She's like, this is our realtor. Remember, you wanted to meet with her. And he was slowly calming down. But I looked at her and I looked at him and I said, no, thank you. Got in my car and I drove away. I sold a haunted house once. Well, a haunted condo, but I did sell a haunted condo. Well, I think I sold a haunted condo. I sold a condo in Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake, if you Google it, you will see that it is considered a haunted house in downtown St. Petersburg. Well, it's a beautiful condominium complex, and it used to be a high school. My father even went there, and if I know my dad, he believed in hauntings. Well, anyway, I was selling this condo in Mirror Lake. I had heard about it being a haunted place, but things like that, they don't bother me. So I had been there quite a few times, and there was a tenant there, and she had a cat. No big deal. You know, this is Florida. A lot of our buildings are older. You hear noises all the time. Doesn't bother me. When we were in contract, I had to get an electrician out there to do a little bit of work on the condo. The tenant had basically moved out. Now, she still had a few pieces of furniture, but she and her cat had moved out of the condo. Now, I completely forgot she said she had taken the cat with her. So I'm sitting in the condo all by myself, waiting for the electrician, and all of a sudden I'm hearing all of these noises. Well, I don't think anything of it because she has a cat. Cats love boxes, at least mine does. And I'm hearing all these creeping sounds. I'm thinking it's her cat. All of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm like, she told me she and the cat were gone. All she had was a couple of boxes and a few pieces of furniture that she was basically moved out. There was no cat in that unit. So I'm sitting there going, okay, what am I hearing? I didn't wait to find out. I quickly grabbed my handbag and I ran out the door and I sat in the lobby. And when the electrician came, I let the electrician in the door and I just stood out in the hallway and I thought, it's not that I really believe in ghosts, but what if there is a ghost? I don't need them trailing me home. So I'm like, I'm just staying away from this. Ugh. I went to this lady's house to list her home, and I knew she had a lot of dogs. She told me she had like about 6, maybe 8 huge dogs. When I got there, the lady was really pleasant. She showed me her home. We sat down to talk about what we think the house should sell for. Well, she said to me, Catherine, before I hire you, I have to make sure my dogs like you. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Animals like me. I'm an animal lover. She opened the door. She let the dogs in. It was horrible. They didn't bite, but I had 6, maybe 8 huge dogs jumping all over me. I was sitting on a couch because her dining room table was cluttered, and you always want to sit at the dining room table. Well, I was sitting on the couch. They were jumping all over me, all in my hair, growling at me, not biting me, but pulling at my clothes, my hair, their mouths. It was horrible. I kept my head down and I'm like, please, please stop it. And I finally raised my head to look at her and I said, please get them off me. And she sat there with crazy eyes, absolutely crazy eyes. How disrespectful she was to me. And you know what? That wasn't right what she did to those dogs. It was a horrible experience. And I'm a pet lover. Hello. This one is more pest than pets. I had a condo not too long ago that I needed to sell for a lady. They lived out of state. They had not been in that condo for about 5 years. So I get the key. I go over to the unit. I had to push the door open. And when I did, I saw so many dead roaches all over the place, all over. I was petrified. I was wearing long pants and open-toed shoes. Hello, this is Florida. We wear open-toed shoes here. So I'll never forget, I raise my pant legs and I'm tiptoeing around and I'm like, gross. Now let me tell you something about roaches. I don't know if this is scientific proof, but anytime I've been in an area where we think the roaches are dead, they're playing games with us. You disturb one, all of a sudden they flip over and fly around. This is Florida. We do have flying roaches or palmettos, whatever you call them. All I know is I can't stand it. It was so horrible. But I took the listing. I hired a really good maid. I prepared her and I said, there's going to be a lot of dead, maybe a few live roaches. Is that okay? And she's like, yeah, no big deal. Well, it was a big deal to me. Once I was selling a townhome for a woman, and sweet, sweet lady. We were standing in her front yard in the driveway. My car was parked behind hers. I was getting ready to leave, but she stopped me and we chit-chatted. It's in her car. I'm walking to my car. She knows I'm behind her. She just all of a sudden puts her car in reverse and starts coming back to my car. Now, dummy me wanted to protect my car, so I screamed and I put my hands out like this. And I'm like, what, am I going to stop the car? Luckily, she did stop. She did hit it. It was a dent, a little dent, but she did hit the car. And I'm like, Catherine, you think you're going to stop a car? I mean, here I am pushing the car. I could have been run over. It was like, oh, unbelievable. I think this might be a 2-part video Don't forget, if it's Tuesday, it's TomKat Tuesday. Tom and I, we sell paradise in Pinellas. To have a sneak peek of all of our new listings and for any real estate updates in between our YouTube videos, please follow us on our social media sites.